it's Micah, and welcome to another episode of Dysfunctional Systems, Episode 1, Learning to Manage Chaos. And I am so excited, as I've said, multiple times. So many times. But, let's just get started. I'm way too excited to just do any sort of intro, so I decided to look back at the television, feeling embarrassed on David's behalf for reasons beyond my immediate comprehension. It airs the same sport for all of 4 seconds before cutting out. When the picture returns, a twisty and intricate crest, a duck flying over a sword and pickaxe looks like, appears on the screen, set against a noble blue. Could this be a team logo? An address to the audience from the coach and captain? Oh, I want to see. I lean back a few feet from the counter until I am supporting myself only slightly with my fingers, and mostly with the stool's 2 hind legs. Honestly, the warmth of the beer is not completely dissipated. David, what is that? Holy! George, turn it up! The person who was wiping glasses behind the counter raises his eyebrows slightly and then reaches listlessly for the remote. When it is in his hands, he turns and gives the television a tired glance. The crest on the screen wakes his eyes immediately, and he is soon mashing the volume up. I hear David shifting at my right, and it sounds as though he's turning in the direction of Cyrus and the other man. Clark, get over here! Oh, so that is the man's name. Clark. Clark and Cyrus look at David strangely, and then strangely look at one another, and then they begin rushing over. I find their antics confusing and unwarranted. What is the big deal over this? In a few moments, the whole gaggle of men surrounds the television. Even the waiter has stopped cleaning tables to watch. I know that sports are popular and all, but this is a little bit much, isn't it? It seems like something government-related. This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not a test. Please pay close attention to the following message. Oh. The message will begin in 40 seconds. This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not a test. Please pay close attention to the following message. The message will begin in 30 seconds. Goodness, this is it, isn't it? It, the thing, the problem. Oh no, I'm not ready for this. Cleaning up garbage is one thing, but this is completely another thing, and I don't even know what exactly. I search Cyrus's eyes for something to comfort my spirits, but I find nothing and do not know why I bothered at all. His face is indiscernible as ever. Aside from the serious brow and lip, of course. The message will begin in 10 seconds. Crap! The message will now play. The crest vanishes, revealing a man in a suit at a desk, a dapper brown suit and a large brown desk. I imagine he must be important, as the crest from before is quite brazenly carved into the wood of his furniture. He's the president! As for the man himself, he looks older than Cyrus, which is ancient at worst, and age 60 at least. He looks very tired. His face is worn, and his expression does nothing for the mood. He does not have some fake-looking hair, though. That's pretty funny. Oh, he does have some fake-looking hair, though. That's pretty funny. I almost have a small chuckle, but given the severe expressions of my company, I decide it would be best to stifle it. Brighton, we have endured. As a people, as a country, as a workforce, we have endured these past 120 years. Surely you are all very, very tired. I, my people, my friends, am very, very tired. The word sobering meant little to me before this, but I completely understand it all at this moment. The way this man carries himself, his speech, and his dour voice have all combined to chill the warmth from my head. I set my stool back down and have an actual seat, looking up at the monitor with certain intensity. The man has me engaged. I'm tired of the media portraying our common man, the fool, an ignorant sort all too glad to do the deeds of his betters. Tired of these foreign companies providing us work and wages that we will celebrate for only pennies more. Tired of hearing my people say in passing and in normalcy, no, I do not know if we will eat today, perhaps tomorrow. Brighton, I am tired of our masters. I am so tired. People of Brighton, we have grown so used to freedom, we've forgotten that we are not free. This chair and this desk, this stage of an office on which I play my part is evidence of that. I offer a serious and composed look to Cyrus. If I'm understanding correctly, and I can't say I'm one for understanding much of anything on this world, it seems that this leader here is not as much of a leader as he might like. Which frankly I don't quite get. The way leadership works back home, at least on the large scale, is that several especially intelligent and responsible people rule over all of us. The idea of power being not enough or being feigned seems complicated to me. Like, what's the point? Why the show? I'd like to ask Cyrus about it, but he isn't returning my gaze, and instead remains focused on the television. I suppose I'll just have to keep listening. But I'm not here to tell you the troubles of our state. I'm not here to tell you the glory of our fathers. I am here to confirm the quiet whispers through the alleys and the worried murmurs of Gabrian elite. Pardon? Consider this a threat. People of Gabria, you have 4 hours to comply with my demands, or a nuclear weapon will be launched at your country. What? Oh god, no. This is turning into something completely different as to what I was expecting. Like, well, like, not exactly, because of course I was expecting something really huge to happen, but like, a novice isn't prepared for this. Like, they should pull me out immediately and send me to another area rather than, like, keep me here. But I know they're gonna keep me here because they can't do anything else. But, oh god. That can't be good. Winter, come over here for a minute. I rise and step over to my mentor, feeling surprisingly clear-headed and befuddled all at once. He takes me from the counter, leaving the 3 gentlemen to discuss whatever is exactly that the man on the television just brought up. Nuclear weapon? The hell is that? What does Barnaby think he's doing? I can't believe he really did it. What kind of place does he think this is? Sir, could you please break down what just happened? I'm kind of lost here. Winter! Ah! I know we've only just arrived, but did you look at the files you were given at? I did. Have you been paying any attention to anything out here? I have. You have? You have? Then explain who that man is. Explain anything. Don't push me on the spot like that. The leader of Brighton, sir. President Barnaby. He's angry about Gabria. I'm not an idiot. Gracious, why can't I articulate or explain it any better? I just wanted to clarify some things, because I'm shadowing you. Sorry, I reacted out of impulse. I forget how unprepared life in our world can leave us for these things. His tone shook me up quite a bit. I'm shivering a little. I was going to lie and say I understand, but I'm having a lot of trouble speaking right now. I want to go home. Winter, you may not have realized the severity of this situation. This isn't going to be community service like your first assignment. I know that. Hey, eyes straight, Harrison. Allow me to be frank. Brace yourself, because there may be a lot of dying happening soon. Dying? But... I'm shocked, honestly. I figured those rumors I heard from Clark were only that. Hold it. Death? I just thought... As far as we knew, this world hadn't even developed nuclear weapons yet. What did I think? He said weapon, and am I daft? Though with their strides in utilizing nuclear fusion for electricity, I suppose it was only a matter of time. People are going to die? It's people dying! Just slow it down for a second! I suppose that's what comes with our job. Not everything can be in the dossiers, right? We smooth out the creases and bring chaos to order. Slow it down. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Though sudden wars really are rare. War? My mind starts to tumble and my heart tries to explode from my chest. I definitely can't handle this. War isn't something I'm supposed to take care of. Shut up! Don't excite the locals. I cover my mouth and raise my shoulders. Of course they're looking for a war. You can't believe people dying is just a commonality. Do you even think properly? I'm finding it incredibly hard to do anything properly right now. Shaking, I turn to see the people at the counter. They thankfully are still engrossed in the president's speech. I look back at Cyrus and speak softly through my fingers. Shouldn't I go home? Yeah. Oh. This was supposed to be something like diplomacy. Goes to show you how important it is to get a look at the situation yourself. Anyway, if what I heard was right, we don't have the time to get you out of here without causing a scene. Oh no, so I'm forced to stay, aren't I? As you should know, interplanar shifts take longer to prepare than just moving from place to place. But I'll protect you no matter what happens, Winter, and you know how to escape if you really must. Yes. I don't know if I want to do that anymore, though, if he's talking about maybe dying. Of course, we don't have a lot of time in general. His demands I couldn't care less about, but this deadline... 4 hours. Oh shit, that is a nasty deadline. Consider this a powerful lesson and come with me. We proceed to exit the bar without saying goodbye. It seems it's time to get to work. It's too bad that I'm terrified. We talk... What? What's that noise? Oh, it was the music. Okay. We take to the streets at a quick pace, Cyrus leading to wherever. I find it difficult to keep up with him, though, and in more ways than one. My head is still swimming from the mention of war. Though this doesn't seem like a quick pace to me, but okay. But what level is the war, do you think? You mean what level do I think it'll be? It hasn't happened. With any luck, it won't. Luck? I'm thinking it could be something like a 4 on the scale. 4? 4? Oh gracious, 4 is only 1 away from 5, and 2 from 6, which is terrible. 6 is very, very terrible. The worst. Even 4, though, a war without rules. That must be particularly gross. It's a very disturbing prospect. So disturbing that I grab my hair and almost shut my eyes. What exactly is this? What will happen? Test. What do you think? Is it really the time for tests? Be appreciative that I'm even doing this work, Winter. He seems so much more angry than before. How irksome. What do you think? Oh, what do I think? What it could be? Well, first of all, Cabria will respond to Brighton's threat. Possibly. Possibly? What? Why wouldn't they? I'll answer that for you, because it might work in their favor to ignore it. I don't get it? Just think, Winter. Okay, just think. Wonderful advice, you... Blah. Well, maybe they just don't care at all about Brighton, and they'll use this tantrum as an excuse to destroy them. That's... nonsensical, I know, pointing out how I'm like a fish attempting to walk. That's right, Winter. You're right about why they wouldn't respond. What? How absurd. Isn't Cabria a leech on Brighton's back? They need Brighton, so why would they want to destroy it? Well, they wouldn't actually destroy Brighton. What they would do is invade and take away what little freedom and independence this country still clings to. Then they would be able to take advantage of the citizens in ways unprecedented. What a disgusting thought. I can hardly even imagine it. Alright, now here's another question. Why does Brighton think he can take on Cabria? Damn it, Cyrus! How should I know? The same way you knew the first thing. I was bullshitting! Language. Sorry, sir. Thinking about recent events might help. Goodness, is he trying to get me to think in the place of murderers? Those are boots I would not like to fill. I guess that I have to, though. You mentioned recent events. I can't think that the minimum wage increase would embolden this country enough to believe they could stand against an obviously superior nation. Especially with how unimpressed the president seemed to be about it. Even David wasn't terribly excited. Oh, David. What was it that David mentioned? Their new army. The person I spoke with, his name was David. He said that Brighton had gotten a military recently to defend against the border country for Ferdia. He said it was because Ferdia is dangerous and ignores treaties, but isn't it far more likely that this army was actually created to engage with Cabria? With an actual military and what seems to be a new kind of weapon, at least judging from how the locals reacted, then that would explain their confidence. I think. See, Winter? You are cut out for this. Heh. Wait, don't reference things I mumbled to myself before we came here? Crap. Then you understand the situation? Yes, but I'm curious. Isn't this more like a level 5 war? As Brighton and Cabria are technically separate, I can't call what might happen until the war. Then it's a technicality? Just a technicality? I figured Brighton and Cabria were still very close. Well, look at you. You're all calm. I frown with indignation. I am not at all calm if this is essentially a level 5 war. Well, you'll look it. I do not let up with my frown. Well, that isn't all there is. How this might proceed largely has to do with what level I would give this potential war. Cyrus stops, and I stop and turn. We are now in front of a fountain. It took me the entire time till now to realize that the city streets are deserted. The doorways are even clear of those ragged children who would ask us for pennies. Could it be that everyone is listening to the address? Before I can drift off on this thought, Cyrus looks down at me. A nuclear weapon is one that can kill a lot of people and destroy a lot of things almost instantly. Excuse me? Honestly, Winter, what did you think I'd meant earlier when I said a lot of dying could be expected? I won't go into details, but it's not something you would have been taught about yet. I've dealt with it before, though. You're lucky. I'm not lucky at all. Not even in the slightest. Not even in the littlest. Slightest. What kind of thing is that? Is it magic? This isn't a magical world, Winter. I think the higher-ups won't be going to those just yet. They're less fun than they sound. I should not be going to worlds with wars, either. Point. You can check your codex for information about what we'll be dealing with if you'd like. I need to contact support and update them anyway, so at the least it will give you something to do while you wait. What is it called exactly? Just nuclear weapon seems rather broad, like spear weapon or fruit drink. I believe that it's a fusion bomb. While Barnaby didn't specify, the rumor I heard supports it. Also, it makes sense, considering they're reactors. Reactors? You forgot? We saw them when we first arrived. This country utilizes fusion reactors for power. Ah, right, the looming and shadowy giants that stand on the distant steps. I remember not wanting to remember them. They were disconcerting. Like many other things here. They looked a mess, and unlike many other things here, they vibrated. I thought they were going to violently break apart. Anyway, fusion bombs should be under weapons, obviously. It's technically not pure fusion, but most worlds can only do so much. Not pure? Well, it's a limited reaction jump-started by fission. True fusion bombs are rather like man-made stars. Stars are beautiful. Not the word I'd use for those. Just keep the distinction in mind, and read that fusion bomb entry. Right, understood. I mumbled until Cyrus turned from me and began raising his wrist to his mouth. It suddenly pauses, though, and addresses me again. Oh, and Winter, while you're at it, check out the appropriate entries pertaining to this world. Always mind your codex. It saves lives. Remember to keep tabs on it. Understood, sir. I look at my own wrist. Both of us are sporting bracelets which look very similar to stylish and thin digital watches. We have to regularly hide them from view as we are advised that they are considered suspicious-looking things, usually. Hey, it's Cyrus. You guys probably noticed... there's trouble in the world. Yes, more trouble. Cut the cutesy crap. This isn't the time. I'm actually... Oh, he's actually what, exactly? Look at him. I look at him. He notices that I'm listening, shifts a little, and walks out of my range of hearing. That is worrisome. I look back at my wrist device, my ICD. Interplanar Communication Device, a name which does not actually cover all that it does. It also carries a database and tells time, and probably 1,000 other things that, as it is, fancy. Honestly, if there's anything magical I have encountered so far as a student mediator, it is most definitely the ICD. Science magic, or some such. It basically does everything. It is how we get to other worlds and teleport around them, and it can open up a tiny pocket dimension for holding things. An inventory, it's called. I think it's pretty cool. And it came from my own world. I would never have imagined. Right now, I need to access the codex. I focus this thought, open the codex, and the device recognizes the command, as it is linked with my mind, which is awesome. A tiny holographic screen emits from the device in a rather inconspicuous fashion, yet still in an acceptably readable size. I begin to navigate the database, searching for, well, let's see. Zool, Brighton, Cabria, and Ferdia too, I suppose. I think I'll leave Fusion Bomb for last. Okay, well I've already gotten through those ones, so... Ferdia. Ferdia is a major society on S8659541 Zool. It is one of the 3 most significant societies on said world, marked by its rich culture and extreme aggressiveness. It is responsible for many of Zool's major works of art, literature, and music, while at the same time its army and navy are unrivaled by any other. It is a direct democracy, emphasizing fairness and the power of the individual. Ferdia's wars have been made by other major societies. Oh wait, what? Ferdia's wars have been numerous and frequent, but within the last 2 centuries, developments in aeronautics made by other major societies, Cabria and Rosaire, as well as a fair number of truces, have largely put an end to this behavior. Unfortunately, they display an unusual degree of boldness. This has in the past caused them to ignore treaties and threats of technological superiority in order to go to war. Interestingly, despite their history of aggression, Ferdia has never tried to expand past the borders of its continent, nor has it created any colonies in foreign lands. Regardless of colonialism, many of the mediations on Sewell have concerned Ferdia's actions. Ferdia has always been extraordinarily territorial and protective of its people. This is due to the location on which they settled, on one of the few fertile lands of Sewell. The land was and is quite desirable, naturally. See that, I guess. And Ferdia was frequently accosted by other tribes and nations attempting to claim this territory. Necessity led them to be a very strong people, and the familiar helpfulness of its society bore a friendly nationalistic culture. They grew a rich appreciation for their history, which led to some of their later aggressive mannerisms. Ferdians never forget the slights made against their people, and after violently expanding its borders to scare off enemies, it spent much of its time worrying the nations that had assaulted them in the past. To date, Ferdia is believed to have initiated 251 wars and participated in 253. Hence, it has been stereotyped as a nation of violent roughhousing. While true to a point, they tend to be incredibly defensive and quick-tempered. Reports indicate that the Ferdians are generally quite jovial and creative. They are also the least discriminatory nation on Sewell, and expressions of theirs is that they hate everyone equally. That sounds like a place that I would absolutely love to be in. But the truth is that they're surprisingly open to immigration and cultural diversity. It seems that they only ever take issue with countries themselves rather than the country's people. Mediator, be advised, as welcoming and as charismatic as they are, do not fall prey to their influence. Remember that war is severely chaotic. Furthermore, while their military action has calmed down recently, tensions are always high when it comes to Ferdian relations with other societies. Currently, Ferdia has been focusing on artistic endeavors and has adopted a somewhat isolationist doctrine. Its military is constantly honed, but has not been deployed in approximately 50 Sewell years. Okay. Water is a good thing. Fusion bomb. That kind of reminds me of Hiroshima. This entry concerns fusion weapons which are initiated by fission. For pure fusion weapons, see the entry on true fusion. Alright. Fusion bombs, also known as nukes, are highly destructive weapons fueled primarily by nuclear fusion. Their power ranges anywhere from obliterating cities to entire countries, as in all in a few moments. Due to this, their possession is often quite efficient and quickly silencing opposition. Stability is often reached, however, when opposing or multiple societies possess the weapons. Mutually assured destruction tends to prevent societies from risking angering one another. Fusion bombs are also notable for their fallout, which often takes several decades to dissipate. To expound, fallout is the result of a nuclear weapons detonation, fission or fusion, on an area. Ah, that explains why the Fallout series is called what it is, and that explains why everything is so desolate in every single one of their games. That makes sense now. Since the resulting explosion is incredibly radioactive, its effects will linger longer after the initial shock has passed, as the radiation will stick to the surrounding life and environment. Radiation sickness, symptoms, fever, disorientation, fatigue, headaches, hair loss, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, internal bleeding, increased risk of cancer and mutations in survivors' children are all results of a nuclear weapons fallout. I wonder how Hiroshima is then, because I don't know if anyone still lives around there, but I thought they rebuilt some of it, maybe. But they have but they probably have an area that they cannot save, so they just kind of keep it fenced off or something, right? I feel like I should look this shit up. Although most systems refer to these weapons as products of fusion, it is not entirely true. While fusion is certainly a part of the process, the reaction must first be started using nuclear fission, an atomic nucleus, often that of a uranium, splitting. I remember learning about that in Science 30. That was interesting. The reason it is usually begun with fission is due to the incredible energy and pressure required for nuclear fusion. For most societies, fission is the only method available for producing the required energies. If a proper level of energy is reached, the nuclear fuel, often hydrogen, will begin to fuse with itself to produce a new element, often helium. This reaction is significantly more destructive than that of fission, to the point that fission bombs are usually quickly declared obsolete once fusion is explored. The fission stage of these weapons is the primary contributor to the radioactive byproducts left by the detonation. Dang. I have 3 text messages. What do you want? Okay. So, now we see what happens next. Certainly this is amazing. I smile pleasantly in admiration of technology. Most unfortunately, my smile is very, very temporary. As it turns out, the fusion bomb is incredibly horrible. It's a weapon that will detonate and destroy everything in a very large radius with a disturbing rapidity. In its wake, it's a kind of miasma so powerful that it sticks to a place for several decades before dissipating. It causes sickness to those who do not die and greatly increases the chance of cancer and mutations in the children of survivors. Once again, I am affronted by the sense of unreality that has persisted since my induction into the mediatorium. This is not even something you would read about in storybooks. This is not a thing one can imagine. Why would you kill somebody else? Why would you kill hundreds, thousands, millions, and once more with such effects? What does that accomplish? They said I would not understand it for a long time, that it would be covered later on in my schooling, and that until then I would not be allowed to mediate wars. I need to understand this now, though. It may go down in a matter of hours. What will happen if I remain in this foolish ignorance of mine? My heart thumps and my stomach twists. I put my hand over my mouth and squeeze my eyes shut. I'm not the type to freak out, but I am freaking out a lot today. Winter! Come on, calm down. We'll make it through this and you'll be better for it, okay? I close my codex and look at Cyrus, who has placed his hands on my shoulders. The gesture does not help. For some reason, it makes me feel worse. My heart tightens and tears escape from my lids. I feel the same feeling that comes when I imagine how it would be if my dad were to die, only the feeling is much more distorted and disgusting. I answer Cyrus with a wobbling voice as my emotions are in tears. In tatters. I'm sorry, sir, but I don't understand. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. Winter, come on. Hey, you aren't stupid. You're a smart girl. I am. I'm incredibly stupid, and you know it. You're just a bit hard-headed. It's okay. You're young, Winter, and you're strong, too. You're strong, Winter. I just don't get it. I'm sorry. I raise my head and look at his face. Through my tears, I can see that Cyrus's cheeks are more flushed than my own. He jumps a little as if he were startled and hugs my head to his chest. His heart is beating very fast, and I clutch the bottom of his shirt. When he speaks, his voice reverberates through his body in a powerful way, so powerful that I even feel a little more confident. We will not fail. I lift my head and look at him again. He shivers and looks from me to the fountain. I'll make sure of it. But because I looked up the fundraiser for the other game, I got spoilers, and I know this stuff doesn't go very well. No. I didn't, But only if you shape up. I'm terrified. I know. Okay. Let's finish this up, alright? I push away from him and wipe my eyes and cheeks. I feel as though this is too much for me to take. It is hard to have faith in Cyrus. The further I go down the path of a mediator, the harder it is to have faith in anything. Still, if I feel this is so wrong, then I ought to stop it, right? I should stop this all from happening. I should stop this war. Plainly and simply. I steel myself and stare directly into Cyrus's eyes, sure to convey my conviction. Sir. Yes? I am confident that we will succeed here too. I'll also make sure that we will not fail. Huh. That mindset is good, Winter Harrison. Hold on to it. It's easy to lose. Alright, let's kill the president. My soul decides to flee from my chest. What? What? Oh, never mind, it's him. What? That's the obvious course of action. That isn't... No, it's not. That is the least obvious thing. Oh, then what's the most? Talk to him? Convince him that he shouldn't do the thing he wants to do? Winter, we don't have the time for diplomacy. What? Mediation is all about diplomacy. No, it isn't. I shouldn't even have to tell you that. Mediators are simply neutral parties that enter worlds with problems, assess the situation, and solve the issues by whatever means necessary. You really are scum! What? I look him in the eye, nearly snarling. What is it, sir? You think I'm deaf? Every student knows how you handle things. That's right, people talk about you. Everyone knows that you're a murderous and cold... And don't talk to me like I'm that stupid. I remember what they say at orientation. I know that setting existence to balance is totally important. I know how needed it is, but I thought we were more heroic than that, and I can't believe I felt confident because of you. Do you even hear yourself? What is necessary? We shouldn't lower ourselves to that barbaric level. I'm really starting to tire of your lip, Harrison. Oh, no. Now listen here. Many in Brighton do not support aggression against Gabria, I've heard. That's only natural. War is a terrible thing. Furthermore, while their poverty extends far, it can be argued that this situation is for the best. Barnaby does not see that, though. He sees his own solution as the only solution. The people do not side with him. That is at least one issue that need to be addressed. They must support him. They must feel that his decision is right. So I will kill him. I'm doing so. The blame should be placed upon Gabria, and it should be clear to the populace that they have an enemy to fight. In doing so, the blame should be placed upon Gabria, and it should be clear to the populace that they have an enemy to fight. What is he saying? Was all that talk before to prepare me to accept this evil? To prepare me for these calculated deaths? You're not asking me to support killing a man, are you? You're going to allow the nuclear bomb to be launched as well? Are you insane? I can't sit by and allow that. You've underestimated the plight of these people. For Barnaby, who has no real power to wrest it for himself in such dramatic fashion, suggests that he is not willing to listen to reason. If we had longer than 4 hours, then it would have perhaps been possible to change his mind. But like this? Just forget it. That nuke will be launched. All we can do is unite these people before they go to war. We can still bring this nation into order. Order? Does that bother you? Stability is paramount, Winter. So cool your head. Think about this logically already. Being a mediator isn't a thing of emotion. That's... What? That's only your opinion, and you're only one person. Don't act as though you know anything. I don't know a lot, but what I do know is that murder is the worst thing a person can do. So horrible and disgusting and terrible that we don't even write about it, and it never happens. You're very ignorant to think that. What, you want to rebel against me again? I don't know. I don't know if I should, because you're kind of right. You... It doesn't look like it. They're so tainted by their troubles that it's doubtful I could convince the president to stop this. Killing him instead, though? Letting the nuke go off, too? Could I even forgive myself for that? Yet we probably don't have very much time. From what I read and what I've heard, it seems that weapon can be released easily. Very, very soon. Winter? Blast! I need more information! Are you saying that preventing the launch in war is impossible? I had mentioned before that, with luck, it won't be. With their president gone and the only remaining leader being a backup, there may at least be a delay on the bomb, which would give us more time to attempt other plans. The death of the president could also lead to Gabria taking Brighton much more seriously, since it signals a dangerous level of civil unrest. In which case, Gabria would probably unleash this nation completely before they even had the chance to launch the nuke. Alternatively, there is also a small chance, a very small chance, that Gabria will give in to Barnaby's demands. In the likely case that none of these possibilities come to pass, however, you can still expect the relations between Gabria and Brighton to proceed much differently from now on. Brighton citizens will believe that Gabria has a stranglehold on them so complete that they can kill their president less than an hour after a threat of aggression. Some will be in fear to rebel against such power, but many will be emboldened in the belief that Gabria has gone too far. What's more, once that bomb has gone off, the citizens won't be afraid for much longer. The fusion bomb holds unprecedented power here. Nobody understands it, not even Brighton. It could separate these two muddled nations and produce a new order. As an added bonus, once they see its power and grow to fear it, it's probable this world will never see a nuclear weapon launched again. That kind of sounds like Earth, because as far as the nuclear bomb that was put on Hiroshima, I don't think we've really kept up with nuclear weapons much, at least to that extremity, unless I'm wrong. If Barnaby were to launch it now without his nation's consent, the people would condemn him as a tyrant. It would lead to both a civil war and an international one. We need to make him a martyr, a hero in death. He will be a sacrificial symbol of Brighton loyalty, and the people will follow him posthumously. Gracious, he seems so sure of himself. Well, that's 'cause he's kinda right. Would this really be for the best? Would this bring about order? What should I do? Oh hey, I get a choice! Well, rebelling seems like a super bad idea, so let's just follow Cyrus, because from what I can tell, he's right, and Winter is fucking ignorant as shit. So, yeah. Fine! I refuse to invest any more heart into this. It's out of my hands. I'm just here to watch, yeah? Then that's what I'll do. If Cyrus wants to go around murdering people and being a terrible person, then I guess that's his prerogative. I'll just consider this an example of how not to be a proper mediator. This is all we can do, Winter. Yes, whatever. I must say that the thing I hate the most about this is that he isn't entirely wrong. Not about the murdering, that's definitely wrong, no question. It's just that I really don't know anything. Cyrus is a mentor. He's been doing this for a while. Evidently, from the candor in his voice, he's good at it too. Even if I took the lead in the face of my inexperience, anything I suggest is likely to fail. It's so frustrating. Winter? I will follow you, but I hope you know that I won't be killing anyone. This is your blood-stained proposal, not mine. I'll watch, and I won't help. That's all you're here for. That's right, I'm only here to watch and learn, that's all. As such, I stopped talking and just stare at him instead. We need to find a library. Is that so? We need to find out where the president is. We visited the world before, but not this country. We don't know where their government office is, or even if that is where the president will be. We need to learn more, and quickly. This feels like a lecture. Wait here. He turns and runs off to a woman passing by, one of several women and men who seem to have begun filing the streets as the president's address assembly ends. Well, okay. I didn't exactly have the urge to flee just now or anything, although I wouldn't mind going home and ignoring all this. Demanding a withdrawal is a failure, though, so I will stick with it. Granted, I'm sure they would make an exception for a situation as unique as this, but no, I have to see this through. I ought to see this through. I turn my attention back to my mentor, who has finally reached the woman. Until she notices him, he is wearing an expression so stern I'm sure it would stun her, but after that point, she is met with a bright face and a smile. He begins talking with her amiably, outside of my earshot, and I stop paying it any mind. Something about that high charisma of his now disgusts me. Perhaps it's the basely manipulative angle from which he ultimately approaches everything. Ends justifying means, the needs of the many over the few, various ridiculous philosophies. Even for having to be around him, I feel gross and dirtied. Worse for being associated with him, and especially worse for letting him do what he wants. But right, of course. I shouldn't let any of it bother me. Just as he said, my job here is to watch. This isn't my responsibility. Distance from him now, I start feeling much calmer than before, and when he returns, I've settled down enough to feel oddly impassive about the whole situation. I just asked for directions. There's a library close by. Come on, we're running. With that, he takes off in a sprint, clearly slower than his true pace. I would guess for my benefit. For a second, I contemplate walking, but I reason promptly that there's no point in making matters any worse. I follow fast enough. Being in the presence of books has a placating effect on me. Ever since we entered here, I've been breathing sighs. Everything makes sense in books. Everything is carefully placed, planned out, logical, and clear. They reflect what I once admired in reality. Of course, reality doesn't offer much things anymore. After all, here I am sitting in a library of another world, my mentor tapping away at keys to find a man to kill. I wonder what kind of books a world with wars has. Ones about bloodshed and suffering? As long as they're fiction, I might like to read them. Granted, I've lately found it difficult to determine what exactly fiction even is. Got it. I almost say that's good, but catch myself from automatic politeness. Nothing about that is good. I should have sabotaged his computer somehow. Well, I suppose all that's left is to murder a man. I give Cyrus a curious glance to suggest a question, possibly one of eliciting the whereabouts of the president. He seems to pick up on it. Don't worry about where he is. It's not like it would mean anything to you. Instead, I've got to tell support. We can't shift on our own to unconfirmed locations. I'll tell you this, though. The society is pretty open. The floor plan of their entire government building is online. Found it on a website offering tours of all places. The president's office is on the top floor. We'll try going directly there. I break my gaze and look at his computer monitor. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Cyrus lifting his wrist to his mouth and talking into it. I could eavesdrop, but I don't really care to, and instead turn to the halls with bookshelves. Now here's a thought. If there are an infinite number of words, and a supposedly infinite number of worlds, then theoretically there is no limit to what has been written, right? That would mean that each world has their own unique writings, their own unique piece of an infinite collection. How enlightening. We're going, Winter. I wonder how long I can keep up this charade of nonchalance. I'm afraid that as soon as I take it down, I'll be completely aware of the severity and sickness of the oncoming event. So I don't want to go. I don't want to see this. I'm going to watch a man die. I'm going to let a city be destroyed. I can't believe I joked about this. I completely relinquished my rebellion, and now I can't save anything. You could easily say that this was my fault and wouldn't need to convince me. I could have done something. I could have tried harder. If this is a lesson, I want to stop coming to class. I must keep going, though, regardless of my feelings on the matter. Really, I have to. I have to keep doing this, and I have to keep dealing with him. If I'm going to allow this, then I can't hide from it. I look back to Cyrus. The coordinates have been sent to your ICD. We'll be going together in 5. I lift my wrist and turn the small screen toward me. There are coordinates and a countdown showing. Cyrus is taking something from his inventory. Before I even see it, I know that what it is. A weapon. He pulls it out, and I am at a loss for words. I only know that it's a gun from it being vaguely similar to the one in my textbook. It looks much stranger than that textbook gun, and seems disturbingly sinister. Well, yeah, it's a handgun with a silencer on it. Perchance my way of thinking is warping my perceptions? Hopefully not. I wonder how Cyrus got it. We aren't given any weapons for our work, but we're allowed to take things from different worlds along our travels and store them within our inventories. Surely there's a story in how that gun wound up with him. Surely there's a story in how he got each of the doubtless countless weapons he keeps in his inventory. If I didn't loathe him, I might even ask. And we're gone. Oh, cool. My surroundings quickly change as the countdown reaches 0. And we're here! The president's office. Though I think I'll end it here for now. Don't know how long I've been at this, and last time I was at it for an hour because I was so excited to play the game. But it's pretty interesting to see how this may play out. And if I make any more decisions at all during this game. I hope I didn't just relinquish every decision by saying that I'd follow him, but I didn't really want to rebel, because what could I do? I can't do anything, and I can't think of any better way to go about this. And to be honest, I'm more on Cyrus' side than I am Winter's, but maybe that's just from an outside perspective. Especially since I don't come from Winter's world. And I don't really know much about it. But I've heard that the second episode is that you go back to your world and go back to the school after all of this has happened, and you start to learn more about her life and her schooling and all of that. So I'm pretty interested in that. And well, the fundraiser was done in March of 2014, so it should be finished sometime in 2015. And when that happens, I'm buying it immediately. Immediately, I tell you. Immediately. But yeah, anyway, see you in the next one, guys. Micah signing off.